was talking about there. And then we also have Joe Biden, who accidentally, or maybe not accidentally, was alluding to that he is probably or is going to or is running for president.
I think what people are going through right now with Beto is trying to figure out, can he go from being an underdog, someone running in an unlikely state in Texas, running against what felt like a true villain in Senator Ted Cruz, to being someone who can have a positive vision for the entire country. There was something that was unbelievably electrifying about the way that he was talking to Republicans in Republican counties, the way he was drawing crowds, but it was always as a contrast. So now he's actually going to have to go out and talk about his vision for the entire country, not just for Texans. I respect the fact that he's going out and he's being scrappy about it, and he is listening. I respect all of that. I think the fact that he didn't release his early fundraising numbers is actually sort of interesting, just because he's the only one that has the real size of a list that could rival Bernie's. Those two lists are so huge, and Bernie set a standard by raising a ridiculous amount of money in the first 24 hours. So the fact that he didn't release his numbers does pose a little bit interesting to me.
Michael, reflect on money. Joe Biden, as you know, reportedly does not like fundraising, does not necessarily do so well when he's out fundraising, yet the current president, it is reported, most fears, or at least Joe Biden's in the top of the list of the individuals he might fear. What do you think of what you've seen, at least on the Democratic side, that President Trump should worry about?
I think in large measure there are two ways to look at it, Richard. One is from the purely policy side of the equation, and how that plays itself out when you get into late summer and then, of course, into the throes of a campaign. And I think Amy Klobuchar, Joe Biden will present a particular challenge there for the president, simply because they can speak his language. They can speak to that middle part of the country where the votes are going to come from that are going to be necessary to win. Remember Wisconsin, remember Michigan, remember even as you get to the East Coast, Pennsylvania, you're going to need a Democrat who can take that back from Trump. And so the policy prescriptions are going to matter there. I think things like the new Green Deal and other things become more of a problem. The other side of it is the personality. Who can hold up in terms of personality against this president? Not coming down and trying to, get in the mud with him, but staying just 10 or 20 feet above the mud, if you will, to sort of keep the things going. There again, someone like Joe Biden, I think, presents a real challenge to the president in a way that some of the other candidates don't.
For those who are watching Meet the Press, Chuck Todd was relating some new data that came out, negative feelings towards socialism, and to you, Emily, on this, as that word gets thrown around a lot, both on the left and the right at the moment, you can see there's an opening here in terms of ages 18 to 34, those who might fit into the millennial idea. They are the ones that have the lowest amount of negative feelings towards socialism. What does that say about what the left, the Democratic field, should be doing?
Yeah, the lowest negatives I wouldn't advise as the most compelling point to a candidate. Yes, they are the lowest negatives. There is the biggest opening with millennials. But I actually think that we're overplaying the role of socialism in the general election. The biggest thing that people want to be able to know is, can their candidate defeat Trump? That's why it's so important that candidates come out with a prescriptive vision and their own personality. We haven't talked about it yet, but I was actually a little bit discouraged to see Senator Gillibrand's rollout video, because it was basically just an entire contrast to Trump. It wasn't as much about her positive vision moving forward. It was a little bit, but it was really in contrast to Trump. And I just don't think that's going to take us through a general election.
Quickly, Michael, is that the buzzword when we're in the general?
Yeah, I think that is the buzzword, and the fact of the matter is, everybody's going to play to the primary. You got to get to the primary, but the party has to look at that general election opportunity and say, which of these candidates can survive the primary well enough to get us through the general, because that's the fight. It's you can win the presidency in the primary, except we don't elect you there as president.
Yeah, no, that doesn't happen there. It's great having TV coffee with both of you. Emily Tisch Sussman, Michael Steele, thank you for getting my name right as well. I appreciate it.
You
have a good Sunday.
Every time.
All righty. A quick programming note for you tomorrow. Chris Hayes hosts a special town hall event in Michigan with